Hello and welcome to the Skift India Travel Podcast. I'm your host, Peden. And today again, I have my colleague Bulbul. And Bulbul and I will be discussing some of the major headlines that have been coming out of India last week.
Hi, Peden.
Hi.
So, last week we saw a lot of developments because the travel sector is, of course, very active these days. And after weeks of back-to-back discussions about IPOs and travel companies listings, we finally saw the National Stock Exchange launch a sectoral index specifically to track the travel listings. So the Nifty India Tourism Index, which is the name of the index, is meant to capture the performance of the travel and tourism companies within the Nifty 500 index. And we've covered this, and this has come right after we saw stock market debuts of TBO Tech and Ixigo. So what do you make of it, Peden?
Absolutely, Bulbul. I'd love to talk about this because, the National Stock Exchange of India recently, I'm having launched what you said, the Nifty India Tourism Index is exciting news for the financial sector and as well as for the travel sectors in India, right? I mean,
Yeah.
because it tracks companies from the Nifty 500 that are directly linked to travel and tourism. And it couldn't have come at a better time because the Indian government has been pushing hard to position India as a top international tourist destination. And this new index aligns perfectly with those efforts. Travel and
Yeah.
tourism, of course, is a massive industry in India, and we've talked about it innumerable times about travel tourism contributing almost about a little less than 200 billion to the GDP,
Hmm.
and so this sectoral index, it's not just a minor tweak, it's a significant move because it underscores
Yeah.
the importance of tourism to the Indian economy. The CEO of NSE indices, Mukesh Agarwal, when he was when during the launch, so I was reading the reports that came out. He said that this new index is about providing innovative investment tools that are in line
Hmm.
with current market trends. And that's
Yeah.
and that's kind of the key here, right? This is also great news for investors looking to capitalize on the travel industry's growth potential. It starts with, as far as the news reports have said, it starts with a base date of April 1st, 2005. So
Hmm.
it's designed to be dynamic. They've said that there's going to be reconstitution twice a year and quarterly rebalancing to keep up with the changes in the sector. I think for now it has space for 30 stocks, but now it includes 17 stocks. And to
Yeah.
ensure that there is diversification, they have said that no single stock can make up more than 20% of the index. And that's
Hmm.
exactly what is, that's the Indigo score right now. I think Indigo has about 20.01. And after
Yeah.
that is the Taj Hotel Group, Indian Hotels Company. I think this is a very thoughtful structuring, and it helps in managing risk and ensures that there is a broad representation of the sector. Of course, right now I see that they also have companies like Safari and VIP, which are not really travel because they make suitcases, right? So I think it's
But they support.
yeah, yeah,
They're like
exactly.
an ancillary service sort of a thing.
Exactly. So they are including things that are related to travel. And I also see a lot of food FMCG companies as well. So and
Including Domino's parent company, I think.
yes,
Jubilant.
Jubilant food. Yes, it is
Yes.
there. And what's particularly impressive is that the performance of this index, over the past year,
Hmm.
I think this particular index has seen a significant gain. And when I say significant, it's about 42%, right? And
No
a
small
5 year,
amount.
of course, not at all. And it's the 5 year, compounded annual growth, what we call
Hmm.
CAGR, is
Yeah.
about a little less than 20%. Now,
Yeah.
numbers, when we talk about percentage wise, it might not seem a lot, but it indicates very strong growth and stability. And that is why it makes it an attractive option for investors. If you see the last two, this month, Ixigo launched its IPO last month, which was TBO Tech. So if you
Mm.
see, both these IPOs were oversubscribed. TBOTech was oversubscribed for almost 87%. Sorry,
Yeah.
87 times. And, of course, the Ixigo, we've been talking about it a little less than 100 times, right? So it shows how, these stocks are such attractive option for investors. And in a sense, this is a forward thinking initiative, which it not only boosts investment in India's tourism sector, but also kind of supports its growth and integration into the wider global market. And best thing is that it is a win-win for both the investors and the Indian economy.
Like you said, we can say percentages that might not mean so much if we just talk about it in percentage, in just numbers. But we know that travel and tourism are two of the largest industries in India, so they contribute quite significantly to the GDP. So, and right now with the government push,
Mhm.
they're working, they need to be very strong for our GDP to continue growing. So like you said, yes, it's a very positive trend for the economy.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's a positive trend for the economy. It's a positive. It shows the positive way in which Indian tourism
Hmm.
industry is headed, and it's after the COVID lull. I think the Indian travel and tourism industry needs that kind of financial push.
Yeah. And so with this, let's also talk about India. We were talking about the importance of tourism to India, but let's also talk about the importance of India to the other countries that are around us. So for example, last week, the inaugural direct flight between Cambodia and India took off. Cambodia's national carrier, Cambodia Angkor Air, commenced an airline between Phnom Penh and New Delhi. And so, this is India is a key medical and religious tourism destination for Cambodians, but there is a hope that that these direct flights would boost other tourism aspects as well. You cover Asia as well, and you've been covering India. What is your view on this?
I'm not surprised at the development, and
Hmm.
because every country that is serious about tourism, every country that wants a particular has a tourism target, cannot ignore India in any way. We've been talking about, ever since, in the last 4 or 5 years, and this was
Hmm.
even pre-COVID. We've been talking about the outbound potential of India, which is significantly growing. Of course,
Hmm.
we are yet to reach those kind of tourism numbers that China has been churning out pre-COVID, but that is
Hmm.
also because less than 7% of the population has access to a passport. But despite everything, there is a very significant population that's traveling, and it's not about. Earlier, we were talking about, it used to be like two domestic trips and one international trip a year, but no, now one international trip is, I mean, like, people are saving, and
Hmm.
once they save, they want to spend, right? And what are they spending on? They're spending on experiences, and travel is, of course, one of the best experience that anyone can get out of this.
Yeah.
So, of course, I'm not surprised that Cambodia is doing something. And I know that recently you did a story about Taiwan, saying that,
Yeah.
they're mulling visa on arrival for Indian travelers. They've been talking about, they said that, quote unquote, actively considering visa on
Yes.
arrival. Because I
Yeah.
think they also realize that visa is one of the most important issues to sort before you make people welcome to a particular country. And if you see, Thailand had made it visa free. The visa free thing that Thailand had offered was there pre COVID, and then they continued it. Now, Sri Lanka has been doing it, Malaysia has been doing it. I mean, like, we've been covering every country that has been announcing visa free entry for Indians.
Yes, and
And
we're seeing such
visa.
such high level of tourists going there because of these
Yes.
visa
Yeah,
free
I mean, these are
policies.
incentives. Of course, one can never beat the charm of Europe, or travel to
Sure.
Europe. The thing that we talk about, Sat Samandar Par, whether it is US or Europe, you can't
Hmm.
beat the charm of these places. But then of course, getting a US visa or a Schengen visa is an ordeal. All of us know about it, right?
True.
I mean, like,
Yes.
you folks know about it because, we have our office in New York, and, we were trying to get a visa, and what happened, so getting a visa is not easy. I mean, like,
Yeah.
if you see, once you go to VFS, once you go
Hmm.
to the one near Bangla Sahib in Delhi, the VFS center,
Hmm.
you will see so many harried people, and it is
Yeah.
not, initially I was going with someone who had not been to Delhi, so she asked me that she thought that it was, outside that VFS center. She thought it was some kind of an examination hall or something, because everybody was looking so harried and so worried. So
And
I
with a
told her
bundle
that
of papers in their
yeah,
hands.
it is much more important than an exam center, because it is where it's decided wherein, whether you get a visa or not. I
Oh,
still
yes.
remember when before I went to get my Schengen visa, and I was just waiting in queue to collect my passport, and there was this girl who got a Schengen visa, and she shrieked, and she was so happy. And
Hmm.
you would not believe how people look at travel now and the opportunity to travel. I think it's an enduring thing as well, of course. And then it's great that people think of travel in that way, that if they get a
Yeah.
visa, they feel that it's an accomplishment, it's an achievement.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we are not as lucky as the ones staying in Europe or the US, where they don't really need to consider. Visa is not a consideration for them. For them,
I
it's
know.
just about traveling, right?
That's
for
a kind
us
of life we can't imagine.
for us, the first thing that we need to do is get a visa. I mean, that is
And then the transit visas.
yeah, of course. I mean, like, those are a different thing altogether. But yes, I think any country that is serious about getting achieving the tourism target would want to make entry regulations easier for Indians, because they know that this is where the market is.
I think that's also because the Indians are now looking at nearby destinations, visa-free destinations, as an alternative to domestic trips. So, like, if they're looking at one big international trip, they'll probably look at a long-haul destination. But the short weekend getaways, or like three nights, 4 nights week getaways, they're the nearby international destinations for them.
But you know what, Bulbul? I would not say that people are not looking at domestic travel and are looking more at international travel. I think the best thing to say is that people are looking at travel, whether it
Yeah,
is domestic or international, because I see people coming in droves to hill stations right now. Of course,
yeah,
with the
that is also
heat
true.
wave happening in northern India and other parts of the country, so it's not just about international travel. Of course, international travel is aspirational, but people just want to travel. That's it. Whether it is wherever it might be, but they just want to travel.
Yeah. And so let's also talk about, now that, like you said, people want to travel. And then we have this that gem of Goa, which is known
Mhm.
for its beaches, nightlife, parties. But it's also looking to expand beyond this image and make Goa into a digital nomad hub. You recently spoke with Goa's tourism minister, Rohan Conte, and learned how the coastal state is looking to explore this area. Can you share more details from your interaction with him and what is likely to be the future of tourism in the state?
Yeah, of course. Of course, what you mentioned, Goa is known for all that you've mentioned, beaches,
Mm.
nightlife, parties. But what I was most interested in was, I recently read about Goa being, trying to attract digital nomads. And
Hmm.
I was speaking to someone who works in that domain. And that person also told me about how Goa is actively looking to become a hub for digital nomads. Now, you know that both you and I, at Skift, we have remote working. And
Yeah.
I can't, I think we have to do a separate episode. To talk about how great remote working is. I don't care
It's a
about those
blessing.
naysayers who say that, oh, you need to go to an office, oh, you need to be there, oh, you need to meet people. I think I feel more connected to my colleagues.
Yes.
Even the fact that we are not going to office every day. I've been doing that for almost 15 years, and I feel the most connected with my colleagues through this particular setup. So it's not about the fact that you need to see your colleagues every day, you need to meet them every day. It's just about the fact that, and I think I am more productive as a worker when I am doing remote work.
Hmm.
So and remote work is something that it's a blessing. It's a blessing for me. So I was very interested to know that, and I realized that there are quite a few companies that are still doing that. And we need to, I see that whenever like you mentioned, like I when I write about Asia, whether it is Japan, whether it is Thailand, whether it is South Korea, the countries that are really serious about tourism, they are launching something called a digital nomad visa. Now, of course, we have a long way to reach there. First, we need to have the infrastructure in place. But
Hmm.
Goa, the tourism minister, the chief minister, they've been talking about a digital nomad visa. And I thought that's really progressive, because we know that India is doing great as a as a tourism destination. But when it comes to attracting foreign travelers, we are not doing that much, right? I mean, like, we've had a 97%
Yeah.
cut in our promotion tourism promotion budget,
Yeah.
international tourism promotion budget, right? So, but then this state is taking up the onus to make sure that they are attracting enough digital nomads. So that is
Yeah.
when I want to approach Rohan's team and ask them about, what exactly is it that they're doing? How do they intend to change this particular image of Goa? But then I was pleasantly surprised when he said that, he doesn't mind the fact that, Goa is known as a popular destination for beaches, nightlife, and parties. But he said that they want to have, they want to include more tourists, and they want to give them something that is Goa beyond the beaches. So
Hmm.
that was very interesting to me, because I think if there is one destination that can do that, it's definitely Goa in India, right? And in my story, I mentioned that Rohan told me that digital nomads apparently they spend about 35% of their income locally
Hmm.
within the destination that they are.
Yeah.
And he also said that right now they have about, so right now they have domestic digital nomads. They have about 10,000 of them from
Hmm.
across the country, and they want to enhance the infrastructure to attract more of these tourists. And I think that's a very right way of looking at it, because before you say that, oh, we want digital nomads, you need to have an infrastructure in place, because they are not just holiday makers, they have to do their work. So they need, and in India the most important thing is internet connectivity, right?
Yes.
And
And they're creating co-working spaces right next to
yes,
the beaches for it.
exactly. Co-working spaces I can still do with a place where I have access to, where my laptop, I have access to an
Hmm.
electrical plug. But internet is really important, because even
Yeah.
though we have about 900 million internet users in the country,
Hmm.
our internet penetration is just under 50%. So we've been, of course.
No, no, that's true. And plus, we don't get the best of internet speeds at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. So the moment, like when I come to Darjeeling,
Hmm.
the moment I am traveling from Bagdogra, where the airport is, and to Darjeeling, that 3 hour drive, I
Hmm.
get internet very sporadically.
Hmm.
So in today's day and age, it might be difficult for somebody coming from Delhi to understand that, oh, there is no internet, right? But
Yeah.
that happens, and I mean, we need to put that infrastructure in place. So
Yeah.
I think Goa has its heart in the right place when it says that it needs to first, look at the infrastructure challenges, and then think about, having these co-living and co-working spaces, and then try to, and then of course they also need to do a lot of things, because I spoke to another person, Mayur Sontake, who is the founder of Nomad Gaon.
Hmm.
He started Nomad Gaon in Goa, and he
Yeah.
also highlights the need for better public transport, reasonable taxi fares. So
Hmm.
it's to cater to digital nomads. It's much more nuanced than just catering to tourists, because for tourists there are a few other things. But for digital nomads, they are not just there to have a holiday; they are there to do much more. And I
Yeah.
think Goa is looking at the right things and is trying to do the right thing. So I'm happy that it's happening, and I hope that now with they have a BJP government in the state as well as the center. So I
Hmm.
hope that the very famous double engine sarkar will do something to towards this direction, because this is something that India desperately needs.
Yes, and if I mean, clearly digital nomads are the way to go, because even if it, I mean, India does not have this, but even established destinations, even European destinations like Spain, Italy, Greece, all of them are offering digital nomad visas. So why not India? We just
Mhm.
need that. We need that intent to be able to develop destinations in that way.
Correct.
And so Goa is taking the first step. And finally, let's talk about the fact that the Delhi International Airport has introduced a self service baggage quick drop facility in terminals 1 and 3. And these are an upgrade from the self baggage drop facility that had been installed at Terminal 3 last year, because they're meant to allow quicker check ins, I mean, the check in time is supposed to be reduced to 30 seconds, the baggage drop time. Are you these machines do not require boarding pass scanning or biometric validation, which is how they're planning to reduce the time. So are you excited about this? Do you think it will be effective, especially at an airport like Delhi?
As someone who tries to reach the airport 4 hours before time, so that I don't have to spend, uh, it's funny though, because I go 4 hours in advance so that I don't have to spend my time standing in a queue. But I do end up standing in the queue. It's just that I have
Because
more
everyone else has
time.
the same idea.
Yes, yes, exactly. So it is great news. But first things first, the moment Delhi airport came up with this claim that it was the first in the country to introduce this quick drop solution, for
And second
self-service bag
worldwide
drop.
after Toronto
Yeah,
airport.
yeah. So there were Twitter users started slamming this claim, and then people had
Hmm.
pictures of saying that they've used it in Bombay T2, in Mumbai T2, Bengaluru, Hyderabad, Kochi, and some even said that they've used it at the new Goa airport, right?
Hmm.
So while the claim of being the first in the country may not be correct, but yes, this was much needed, especially in Delhi, where that just dropping your luggage is an ordeal. I mean, like
Yeah.
I have never gone to the baggage counter to find no one there, or at least one file of line there. It's
Um,
always a serpentine queue that you have to navigate. So
even if it's already checked in, like web checked in people, even that queue is huge.
Yes, exactly. I mean, like whether it is web check-in, whether it's any kind of check-in, even the premium check-ins that they have for
That
their
also has the
gold,
queue.
silver card, there's always a queue there. So I'm personally glad that the processing time, they've claimed that it is going to be down to 30 seconds. Though
Hmm.
the next time I'm there, I'm definitely going to time it, because 30 seconds seems a little unbelievable, because from 30, the navigating this entire thing takes about 30 minutes. So from 30 minutes to 30 seconds is a little unbelievable, but
I'll put in the caveat for you. I'll put in the
yeah,
caveat for you.
yeah,
The first
but
thing
I'll
that is
still
required is you're supposed to go to the self check-in kiosk and get the baggage tags from there. Put that tag on your bag, and then it's a 30-second baggage drop in these machines.
Yeah, but I know that there will be someone who will be struggling with it, and then they'll have to find someone, an assistant, to help them with it. So I still have
Hmm.
my doubts about 30 seconds, but let me not just say that too loudly right now. But
We'll see
and
once we go to the
yeah,
airport.
and And like they've mentioned that it is there at Terminal 1, which is the domestic airport, and Terminal 3, which is the international airport, and they've
Yeah.
said that there are about 50 such units, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
also, it's currently available for Air India, Indigo, and Air India Express. That's what it said.
Yeah.
Now, what I don't know is whether this is available for international flights, because
That is not clear as
yeah,
of yet.
that is
But
not clear. So Terminal
yeah,
1 is definitely domestic. Of course, Terminal 1 is only domestic, but Terminal 3 also has it's the only international airport that we have
the
in
thing is,
Delhi.
if they're saying like Indigo only flies Terminal 3. Sorry, Air India only flies Terminal 3. So
Yes, Air
it does
India
not
flies Terminal
necessarily,
3. Air India
it does
Express
not necessarily,
Air India
yeah.
Express also flies Terminal 3. So yeah, I mean, like that's not really clear right now whether this will be
Hmm.
available. But I think reducing time at the airport is the navigating that queue and doing everything. It is a bit of a hassle, but and I'm
I,
glad that they're looking at it positively, and they realize
yeah,
that they identify that is a problem, and they want to do something about it.
I want to understand. So basically, what they had done last year was they had installed similar sort of baggage drop machines in Terminal 3, but those required passengers to either do a biometric validation or a boarding pass scan. And these new machines are only an upgrade in the sense that you don't need to do the biometric validation or the boarding pass scan, which is where the confusion might be on whether Delhi airport is the first one in India to get this technology or not. But I'm just wondering if people have been using those baggage drop machines either, because I
I
haven't
have
used them.
I haven't ever used any of these because when I
Yeah.
first heard it last year,
Hmm.
then I think it was not available. So I mean, I don't know why they have to make these tall claims of being the first in the country, second in the world, or whatever it is. As long as it is functional and as long as it is making travel easier, I wouldn't mind. Even
Hmm.
if you're the last one to do it, I mean, like that doesn't make a difference to me. As long as everything is working, all 50 units are working, everything is working with clockwork precision, and even I am willing to go from 30 seconds to 1 minute as well, but just have
Yeah.
something in place.
I was just coming to that. Then, I mean, again, the tall claims. Don't claim that it'll just take 30 seconds, because also keep in mind that now a lot of first time flyers are also coming into the Delhi airport
Exactly.
who
I
are
mean,
trying
I
to
mean,
figure
like
everything out.
it's okay. I mean, like, as long as there is a system in place, I mean,
Yes.
like, I think as Indians we are very adjusting. We do give a lot of leeway to you. So I'm just glad that we are doing this.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm hoping to see how it works out whenever I'm at the airport next.
Yes, yes, yes. I hope it's soon that we are at the airport, and I hope we get to see that very soon enough. Thank you very much, Bulbul, for today. It was great. It
Thank you,
was great
Peden.
talking, and as always, and yeah, of course, a lot happening in the Indian travel and tourism industry, and a lot happening globally as well, with
Hmm.
Indians being a very coveted travelers. So every
Hmm.
every every destination wants a piece of the Indian traveler. Thank you very much. If you're listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any other platform, please subscribe, rate us 5 stars, or leave a positive review. Your support helps us spread the word about the Skift India Travel Podcast and ensures we can keep bringing you free content every week. If you're watching us on YouTube, subscribe to the Skift channel and hit the notification bell to stay updated whenever a new video drops. Thank you for your support.